song like a song like a song like a song now. Welcome to the clouds. KaomiCloud here. Ooh. And now we're going in with some packaging designs. If these girls were some kind of collectible figure that you could get instead of little packagings, I made a box for it. This is not the box.
This is the packaging design. We're gonna be doing the top of it, like a nice brownie shade. It's dirt. And the dirt, it spreads out in many directions. It is this pile on top, but it has color, fashion, and style. It is the globby glob. Fancy.
Dirt generally exists as speckles. It's like this pile compiled.
And that's
Little particles, just this big old mash. A mash, but an organized mash. That them pink wigglers love. And for our tire treads, they need to make their marks against the roadway. So we have the thick blackness. It is just a permeable black that will make it look like kind of like sunglasses. These are some cool shades. We have my summer beachy stripy patterns. I mean, it's like the blue, the yellow. They make the dump truck seem a more natural color. He is the fancy one. He is the civilized dump truck. Ooh. Stars within the wheels. They just sparkle. They make the roadway sparkle as the car goes along and moves along, and it leaves behind a trail, a way of sparkles. And some shinies for the dirt, but with that little nail polish, because the dirt, I think it needs to be a little bit shiny in order to reflect against the sunlight as it goes across the road. Ooh. Oh.
And there we have them. There we have it. It's a little Toby traffic cone. She's in her house. Not really house. It's like a car. If she was a little blind bag figurine, if she had features on her face. So if she was a little figurine, tiny, and she fit in a little blind box, and the blind boxes were just... Yeah. Then it's falling. Precisely. Not just her, it would be her and all of her little friends. They're called the Crafta MundoZ. Yes. In my mind. Beautiful. Beautiful.
Now wait just a second. You don't think it's up there? No.
So basically with Toko traffic cone in mind, I went ahead and added some little traffic cones to this base area because the star thingies, they had no purpose anyway, but we have like the stop signs, and I added on the sides some little pencils. So they had some little pencils on the sides, and I didn't really want to go inside the stop signs and write down stop because it's like an ant, tiny small. And Deo's hair is blue, so I just added some blue polka dots. Painted glasses. And then I went into the designs, made some funky. So the Crafta MundoZ, I made like a nice little design for them. They themselves, they represent these different signs. And then they have the story, which is a story that I wrote. The Crafta MundoZ. And while they were not always the Crafta MundoZ, they started as the Crafty Construction Girls. And for me, I kind of wanted the name to be a little more unique than just saying Crafty Construction Girls. So I wanted the name to literally be words that don't exist yet, and so I gave them a new word. So the Crafta MundoZ, it has book title, book covers. I made many book covers. I made some horizontal, some vertical, and then we also have the beautiful little designs, little artworks that I made all over. Whoa. Yeah. Let's explore some, shall we? Whoa. I am a rocket ship going to the moon. And then I had a more different colorful color design for like a book cover if the book was vertical, because this one would be horizontal, but this one is vertical. So I mean, they both look nice. Yeah. So I basically took the Crafty Construction Girls vertical one from earlier, and then I just went ahead and put on Crafta MundoZ. I drew on the Crafta MundoZ, and then we just colored them in purple because like throughout the city there's like purple accents. Yeah. Now I decided to go again with this tracing over top, but this time I just went ahead and traced out all the little letters, and basically I wanted to like get rid of the background, but then also keep the front ground in front. So I did all the little letters, and then made sure to fill in all those spaces, and then we just popped in the purpley color, fancy. Then I went in like in between
and I made them like black so that it would pop out. So like in between the D and the A of the Crafty Construction. Yeah. And then basically around I did like little black lines and some little white highlights as well. And those kind of like make the words pop out. Then the purple is the only spot on the entire thing where actually it is purple, because the rest of it shall be like the orange and blue and some greens. And then I kind of erased off the background just so that we could get rid of the Crafty Construction Girls and make it the Crafta Mundos. And then I added in some extra details in order to fill in the spaces which had been erased off from the back. So I traced around some things like the hammer, which was already existing there, and so it was the same with the pencil. They were already existing there, but I wanted to make them slightly different, so I filled them all in. And this time around I'm gonna kind of like make the fillings inside of the lines and not just kind of like a blob on the outside behind it, because that's kind of what I did last time. And I don't know, I was just trying to keep like the colors inside of the lines this time. And so I went around the crack, that cloud, and I did give it a bigger crack, because in the beginning it was kind of just like a little speck. And then I went around those little edges because I tried to make the background a little bit of a trace. Yeah, the trace kind of like led into some places, but I did also decide to make the background itself a more colorful space. Ooh. And where did this background come from? Well, it's gonna be shown on my on the what's gonna come up soon. So it did exactly come from somewhere. But around the backgrounds so I just like plopped it behind this Crafta MundoZ thing, and then going around behind the Crafta Mundo's a little of a white pop outline, very fancy. And then I moved it down just a smidgen because I had like the spine of the book on the bottom, and I just got rid of the spine of the book on the bottom, and then I instead wanted to like straighten this out so that it would be the flat cover. And then basically I just kind of went around the edges there so that they would pop out. And you could see my Crafty Mundos and my weird squiggly lines and my polka dotties. They are fancy. And then here comes the side, the book side thing, the one that has like the title, or just the title. And so it's like it just says Crafta MundoZ, but I decided to make it kind of like a wavy pattern. And so I just kind of like made a big blotchy in the background, and then I filled in blotchy and with a 3-tone shade. And then right now I'm like making this little section, this little cloud thing in front of the A. Perfect. And we have the Crafta MundoZ. Ooh, fancy wancy. And then also, of course, the cover, the side book thing, beautiful. Now, where to get this background from? Let's dig deep into where we got this background from. So, first of all, I had this little tiny design thingy. I like the Crafta Mundo words there. And so I decided to go around it, and I made it into like a cloud with a little bit of a speed limit coming off of it. And I went around like little details, just the colors were Deo's color, which is blue. The orange is Toku's color, which is orange. And then the red is Seiji's color, which is her stop sign red. And then I basically just used those 3 colors, and then I did like a little traffic cone coming out of the Crafta, the MundoZ M, and then like a little squiggly line for the Crafta, and then MundoZ. And then basically just like squiggled out those letters there, and I kind of was like scattered traffic cones around to make it look like it's a little bit of like a raininess. Same thing with stop signs, and then also some pencils. And these pencils are kind of like, I imagine them raining from these clouds, because these clouds are pencils as well. And the pencil clouds, they rain pencils. And basically just like an outline, and then an inner outline, and then I filled them in until they looked more like a pencil. And then the little Crafta MundoZ, I made it drip, because I was like, I don't know, it's like dripping on itself, but I was imagining a little bit of a rain. So then this is basically the sketch that came before. And then with that sketch, we're just kind of going around, and then here's where the background came from. So we have the beautiful city line. I made it because this is BimbleDOT city. It is the cityscape of BimbleDOT City. And so there's like a little bit of water all around scattered, and there is in the front, there is the like construction machines. They are building on a dirt road site, and then in the background there's like a big old cityscape where there is almost like lamps and sidewalks, and of course the long roads. And so like I was building some of the construction works. So here is like one of those podiums, and that podium is like where you could put your blueprints when you're doing construction work. And then I made the place where the face firm is, which is a giant waterfall. Oh, and then the giant waterfall has like these cool designs of traffic cones all around its bottoms, and there's a pencil top where the water comes out of, and then around the stem of the water fountain, I don't know, I kind of imagine the interior of it, that those like being a bunch of office cubicles, but inside of the stem of the water fountain stem, yeah. And yeah, so I made it pencil, and then after that we have around here the boat, and the little boat is just kind of in the corner there, it's coming out of the water's edge. And so we're going around like the little windows, because that building was too skinny. I just kind of put stripes inside of it, and then I kind of went around some of the edges of some of these little light. This is a lamp post, and I kind of just went around them and then added some more windows and all the way around. Basically, they had to like, normally when I do the windows, I'm just not really thinking about when I'm doing the windows. I just add until there's no more space. So I don't really count how many windows are inside of each. Then they kind of like added a little bit of a watery background to make it have some texture, because the water is just one plain surface. The grass, I don't do any squiggles because the grass is flat. It's flatter. The water is bumpy. And the window, sometimes whenever I get like super squarey, my fingers just kind of like, I'm not going to make these edges, and so it goes into a circle. And I mean, I'm okay with that. If the window is really small, then it kind of is hard to even tell that it's a square in the first place. So I added a nice little sun in the background to tell you that it is a fancy, fancy, wancy place. And then, I don't know, I kind of like this like building in front of the sun design. None of my sketches of BimbleDOT City had ever had that. And I like that. And then like we have all the windows, and you could see my circles, my beautiful, beautiful circles. And then basically I just like added roads in between, because I would like connect all the different parts of the city all together. And then and the river in the background, I kind of like added a few extra cloudies, and then fixed up the building cities. Sometimes when I'm like doing this, I'm like trying to find my color. So like if I try to go back to the white or like the brown, the black, and then I get like a gray in between, I have to like be like, oh no, I have to find different shades of gray because I accidentally clicked on the gray instead of the white or the black. And then after that, I kind of went in with like the green and then the brown edges, and that's the green. And basically I like doing darker trees so they pop out more. And like the grass, kind of like a light shade, but I don't make it so bright. I try to dull it out, so like on the spectrum it would be more toward the gray, so that it wouldn't fit entirely. And I kind of like go back and forth. So when I'm coloring, I go really quickly, and then I just I basically find every single section and I color in the colors when I need it. So like for the browns, I just get a whole bunch of different browns, and then just color them in for all spaces. And like when I'm coloring it in, it's just like a tap. I'm just tapping, but then I have to color in all the spaces, which I corrected in order to make the line perfect, the black line, the solid black outline perfectly. And then like I was imagining these like curved domey thingy sunsets. They're beautiful sunsets. And so it had like different layers, and so it would be like a yellow interior to the red exterior. Here I kind of I lost the line because when I tapped too much, the inner filler color overshadows my outline. So that's what happened there. But like so I had like this 3-color, all the buildings inside of BimbleDOT City are either red, this blue, and tan, and those are the only 3 colors of my cities, my beautiful cityscape. And so that is the colors that I use for my cityscape. And then we have like the beach in the back, which is like a yellowish kind of, I try to use like 2 different yellows because I want one to be like a brighter and then one to be a slightly slightly like creamier, to make it look like one is like almost illuminating the sun's expression, then the other one's more faded, like a shadow. And those are my sunsets. And basically for the sunsets, I was trying to not keep the colors super bright. But with the machines, I wanted the colors to be bright. And I did like the gray, and then I try to keep the colors matching on the machines. So for this machine, it was red and yellow. And then I kind of went in over and over again because I was like, I don't know what's happening with this machine. This one is supposed to be kind of like one of those, it's supposed to look almost like a truck, where it's like a pickup truck almost, but a pickup truck that has a fancy backdrop to it. Yes. And so basically the purple, that's where I got like the Crafta MundoZ words from, the purple accents. So like most of the sidewalks here are purple. And then here I'm basically doing like the water of the fountain. So like it's a building, but it is also a water fountain at the same time. And it's where the face firm is. And the face firm is basically the BimbleDOT City's construction company. It's their only construction company. They have a giant they're the only construction company in BimbleDOT City, and they take total control over all construction in the city. They're actually kind of evil, but so yeah, it is the ruler of the bad guys. But that is kind of a story spoiler because that's part of my story of the BimbleDOT City. And yes, and yeah, no more spoilers. So we have the beautiful rocks in the background. I try to keep like a dark color and then also a light rock color, and that basically makes my rock background beautiful. And then for that little boat, I just kind of wanted to make it red to match my buildings. And I extended the boat a little bit further outward so that he would look more like a boat instead of like a pencil top thing. And then with the sky in the background, first of all, it started off gray because I was like coloring in some gray crack somewhere. I think it might have been on the other rock, but we did like I made like the sky in the background like a very shaded blue and purpley. But then after that, we went in with this podium, and this podium is supposed to be holding some kind of blueprints that kind of represent BimbleDOT City. So of course we have like the beach area, and then we have like a city area. And so I got the city building colors, and I just popped them on in there. Same thing with the palm tree. And yes, there's lots of palm trees inside of BimbleDOT City because it's literally like a peninsula. I think that's what it's called, but it's like, it's surrounded by water. It's actually, it's an island. Yeah, it's an island because there's no there's no land connecting it to other land. Technically, all land are islands. Okay, yes, but we have this beautiful, the front part, which I'm going to be adding in front of it. So we went back into coloring them in, and what I did was I went in between the Crafta with a slightly lighter orange, and then the MundoZ, I kind of was like making that Z into like, I was imagining one of those safety tapes. I think that's what they're called. Yeah, caution tapes, yes. And then we went ahead and went around the pencils, and those pencil clouds, I was kind of wondering how I was going to do them, because I wanted it to be like the red eraser on the outline, and then a little bit of a lighter gray, and then like the orange, and then interior furthermore. But I just kind of went around them. I just kind of went with the red, just went ahead and made that because I didn't want the outline. I just wanted the red to be the outline. And then came like the inner the pencil, the orange pencil, and then the gray metal part, and then the little stripies, and then that little center part where the pencil is its inner shavings, and then the black dot where the tip is. And those are basically my pencil clouds. Yeah, I hope you like them. And so I made them around and around. I was kind of getting tired of making mini ones, but I did not want to copy and paste them because why would I do that if I wanted them to be different shapes? So yeah, I did that. And then we have like the traffic cones. I made them a little bit lighter. And then my real pencil all around. Hello, I yawned. So we have like the, I kind of was like going in with different colors. So I did some blacks and I basically was just trying to make the space look fancy. And I imagined it kind of around the edges and I basically added my logo and I slightly transparenticized it because I wanted it to be I wanted to see the background. And that is it. Whoa.
Bye, 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 bye. And this is KaomiCloud. See you in the clouds. Kaomi out. Thank you for joining me in my world of BimbleDOT and analyzing my beautiful art for my Crafta MundoZ. They are not Crafty Construction Girls because they're the boy. Crafta MundoZ. See you in the clouds. Kaomi out. Whoosh. Oh.